This afternoon we are graced by the presence of Jucinta and Monique who will give us amazing performances as well as sit here on my couch for good conversation. Let's welcome Jucinta on the stage.
Hi. Hello. That's okay. I'm a young girl who fell in love, head over heels, infatuated, addicted you might say. But no, this was not with a charming face or a heartthrob, although this does make my heart throb. I found my voice between line sheets smeared with ink. I started writing to release bottled up emotions, but found so much more within the arms of poetry. Because you see, there's more to me than teary eyes and smiles. There's more to me than the girl in the curls that cover her head like thoughts held together by gravity. There's more to me than the splashy flesh exterior. I'm just here to simply show you what I possess. Thanks. Okay, I'll have to admit I am a bit nervous. But yeah, the first poem that I'm going to do is entitled Misconception. Lunar cycles of lunatic cyclones, storm-ridden fears in the tongues of those we hold near and dear. This came to pass as the thoughts in my mind directed my pen across the page. The mere imagination locked and sealed away in its cage until yet one day revealed in melancholic madness. Excuse me, I did not intend to confuse thee. Sometimes I talk to myself and people look at me and they label me loony. I grew up watching cartoons that depict the faces of humanity, and through different eyes was able to switch a creative thinker and band my thoughts to be a spectator to what I stood for. Your opinion does not matter here, we are made to believe. But my dear, your mind is a gem, and I'm sure that they haven't told you that you have to be bold in the pursuit of your goals, because you have the power of control in your intertwined, preconceived box of thoughts dangling from a string of control. Thanks. I haven't done this in quite a while, so I think that's where the nerves kicked in a bit.
You're so good at it. You just like flow, man.
Thank you so
You have a
much.
beautiful voice as well.
Thank you.
Okay, tell us, when did Jucinta fall in love with poetry?
This is actually very weird. I was 12. I was supposed to be studying for maths. I hate maths. And I don't know, I can't remember the contents of my first poem, but I know it was entitled Your Eyes. And I just rolled with it. And after that, I went to my gran and I was like, wow, listen to this. It wasn't actually good, but yeah. I went to her and she's like, never stop writing. And from that day, I never stopped writing.
That's so beautiful. And who is Jucinta? And how does she express who she is in the poetry?
I think, I don't know, like, I guess you could say like we all poets have a sense of kind of a depressed side. Yeah, and that's where the most poetry comes from. Like, I really write well when it comes to like heartache and pain. I think that's where I express myself the best, because sometimes tears just aren't enough and you need to put it into words.
Would you say that's what usually your subject matter is about?
Yes.
Depression, pain?
Yes, definitely. I think heartache is definitely the one that I do really well in. I do write happy poetry as well, now and then, and love poetry now and then, but yeah, mostly.
Could you elaborate more on your writing process?
Well, it differs. I think depending on the subject matter and how I feel about the poem that I'm writing. Usually it would start off with the title, and I usually love to have a play on words. So I love my titles to have a play on words and different meaning than what it actually says. Yeah. And then from there I just start writing. Whatever comes to page, I write and edit as I go along, but whatever comes first, I put it down immediately.
And where do you draw inspiration from? Like, what's your worldly references in your poetry?
I think I definitely draw experiences from the people around me. And I love to write poetry where someone can be like, oh wow, that's someone else's words, but I know exactly how you feel, kind of thing. I'd love to express on behalf of other people. So I think that's where I definitely draw a lot of my inspiration from. I want to write poetry that anyone can relate to, basically.
How do you think people respond to your poetry after your performances? What are the comments that you usually get?
Well, Mostly it's good. It depends on the crowd as well, I think. I think I was more towards the female crowd today, and we have a lot of males here today. But yeah, I definitely think when someone comes up to you and they're like, wow, that was really great, that's amazing, I love that. But just to put my work out there, it's like, wow, that's how her mind works, was also amazing.
Is your target market women in your poetry?
Not always actually, not always, but more so. Yeah, when it comes to my heartbreak poetry.
Okay.
I definitely say I'm more targeted towards the woman. But I definitely love to hear the male perspective of that one day. I don't think there's enough of that.
And what's your personal philosophy?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I think my personal philosophy is definitely how are you treating someone today? What if they're not here tomorrow? So that's definitely something that I live by. You always help where you can. You're always kind no matter what happens. No matter how mean someone is towards you, you do not react in the same energy. You give them positive energy because you don't know what's in store tomorrow.
And how does that maybe affect your poetry, your artistry? How does that spill into your work?
That is actually such a good question. These are really good questions. That's a difficult one to answer, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a difficult one to answer, but I think definitely I like to write to show, like, this is what I'm thinking in the here and now. And sometimes I love to look back at my poetry and I'm like, oh wow, I was in that space in time. What if someone had also been in that space in time and they heard that and they were okay, they knew that we could go on, it's going to be okay. Yeah, I think that answers the question, I hope.
Can you define for us your relationship with other Bloemfontein poets or artists?
Well, it is a very diverse area actually. There are a lot of artists in Bloem, many of them very underground. We don't really know about them, I'd definitely say. And I'd love for them to come to the light and show us a bit more of what they can do. But yeah, definitely appreciate every person that shows their form of work and in whichever way it is and whatever frame of reference they carry that from. Second one I'd like to perform is called The Intervention. We fall victim to the artificial repression. Why sculpture an ideal image in front of a reflective glass deemed to speak to all your subconscious fears and insecurities? Prayers go to them who fill our heads with fantasies, lies guaranteed to keep you at the edge of your seat. Indirected signs planted in your mind's eye. Dear society, here is where we draw the line. I'm just trying to underline the underhand persecutions of a naive mind. Grant me the opportunity to chant this message to all the women of this earthly gallery. My lady, you are a work of art. Every piece, every part. Thank you.
Monique is a singer, and I've taken her all over the province. Yes. Oh yeah.
I'm so glad I don't have to do my own introduction. Thank you Tumi. Okay, so everything that needs to be said has been said. Hi, Monique. The song I'm about to sing to you, I wrote it in my first year after I was dealing with trying not to present myself as an overly emotional woman, trying my best to keep it all together, pretending to be someone that's, you know, like a girl boss, and then everything is falling apart. And I wrote the song while I was doing with that. When life happens, I write about it and I sing about it.
Smile and be brave, keep it dry, keep it safe for you,
My parents just arrived, so I'm just gonna...
Tell us, who is Monique Burger?
I'm someone who is painfully aware of the fact that I don't have it figured out.
Okay.
And I'm okay with it.
That's a beautiful description. When and how did you start your music journey?
So I come from a musical family, the one side at least. My grandmother was a music teacher. She teaches piano and recorded to little kids, and she always encouraged me to sing. My mom is also a musical person. She also played piano for a bit, and then she started moving into her passion for dancing. She's a Zumba instructor. So I think it was my mom and my grandma that just kind of encouraged me into the direction of singing. And then when I was in primary school, I realized I'm not really good at anything else, but I'm pretty good at music. So I think that was the thing that I exercised for as long as I can remember. Yeah.
Those two songs are your original songs, yes?
Yeah.
And tell us more about your writing process. How does it look like?
When something happens and it impacts me in a way that I can't use words, I use words similar to the feelings and then try to create sounds that imitate what I feel. Yeah, so when something happens, music happens.
Okay, and where do you draw your inspiration from? So just kind of elaborate on the things that happen that impact you. One of them or two.
There's a story I wanted to tell with my parents. So, I'll tell this anyway. Okay. The first song that I wrote was in high school after my matric farewell. We drank some alcohol, and the things that happen after you drink alcohol happened. And so the morning we were experiencing the repercussions of alcohol. And we just felt that we were so deep and understood life like nobody else did. And we wrote a song about the corruption and existential feeling of life. And the song was titled Vaseline. Oh. Yeah. Other times when people hurt me, I write about it. When I get confused, I write about it. Right now, God excites me, so I'm in a process in my life where I write about that. Yeah.
What has been the biggest highlight in your journey?
The biggest?
Highlight.
Highlights in my journey, musical journey-wise. That's a tough one. I think meeting Rumbi was a big part in
Could you elaborate more on that?
So Rumbi is one of those go-getter people. He does what he wants when he wants to do it, and he follows through on it. I wasn't, and I still am not, but he's the type of person to pull in other artists and to encourage them to take part in the music community. And that's one story.
Shout out to Ruby.
Papa, I'm in here. Hi. So the next song is called The Purple Painter. Mama, you looking so much? Neil Doyboxes. Here right behind me is a couch here. Can we please give it up for my family? They were very awesome people. They had something on, but they said they're going to do what they can to be here, and they arrived just in time. So thank you. So the next song is called The Purple Painter. It's about disappointment and heartbreak. Also, when I started studying, I met someone. You know the process you go through when you're not really into someone, and then just as you start to fall for them, they change their mind? So I met someone when I was studying who I really liked, and then he started pulling away a bit, and he was late for one of our coffee dates, And then he arrived and he pulled down his shirt and he was like, check out my hickey. And yeah, I was pretty upset, but I was still in the process of trying not to appear as an overly emotional woman. So I said, wow. And then I left and I ran to our Momentum's piano and started singing my feelings out. And this was the product. Woo! I forgot the first part. Some moment. Purple stains on your neck. I pay no respect to the fact that I never painted you purple. My skin stained with dirt. I'm scared to get hurt.